So I guess England are the best team in the world at the moment. Or, if we're going on the logic that everyone has been saying for the past week or so, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that Ireland are the number one team in the world. What now? What now? They have just lost to England 23-22. Yes, away from home, but a lot of people coming into this said that Ireland are the best team in the world. Ireland would need to go down to 13 or 14 players for England to have any chance. And I can't believe that I was shouting for England in that game as a South African, but I just can't take that how delusional some people can be calling Ireland the best team in the world after we've just had a World Cup. After the Springboks have just won back-to-back World Cups, they still have the audacity to call Ireland the best team in the world. Well, I have a newsflash for you. Ireland aren't. They just lost to England, who are not close to the best team in the world. Ireland just don't know how to do it under pressure, and the way it happened was also phenomenal. England go up pretty early in the game, 8-3, and then going into halftime, they were down 12-8. They were going into the second half, started the second half down 12-8, and they eventually managed to win the game 23-22. Now, England did have the lead 20-17 in the 61st minute, and then James Lowe for Ireland managed to score in the corner, making it 22-20. And even the commentators thought that that was the final blow that Ireland needed to win the game. But Marcus Smith, in the 80th minute, puts over a drop goal and wins the game for England 23-22. Even going into this game, the English coach said this: they might not have won the World Cup, but right now Ireland are the best team in the world. So does that make England the best team in the world now? Where has all this delusion come from? Ireland are the best team in the world. They just lost to England. And it's kind of funny that they also lost by 1 point as well, because South Africa in the finals, quarterfinal, they win by 1 point. Semi-final, they beat England by 1 point. And then in the final, they beat New Zealand by 1 point. And I think Ireland losing by 1 point is somewhat symbolic at the moment. You can't have all of these people riding for one team so hard when they haven't won any silverware besides Six Nations. And to be honest, I don't really think Six Nations silverware counts that much, because South Africa aren't there, New Zealand aren't there, and even Australia and Argentina aren't there. So it's kind of a walk in the park, and Ireland have now made it look difficult, losing to England on the day. So now that I'm done bashing Ireland and I've got that off of my chest, what are some of my takeaways from this performance? Well, I won't sit here and deny that Ireland are one of the best teams in the world. When Ireland are operating at 100%, they probably could beat any team on the day. We saw it in the World Cup where they ended up beating South Africa on the day. The problem with Ireland at the moment is that I feel like they just have too much hype behind them. There's too much pressure on them. They're meant to be this golden generation that can win a World Cup, that can do a Grand Slam and do just massive things. And I think the media puts too much pressure on the likes of Ireland. They're still a normal team. They haven't made it past the quarterfinal in a World Cup. Yes, they've won a couple of Grand Slams, but that doesn't make them the best team in the world. To be the best team in the world, you need to do it on the biggest stage. You need to win a World Cup. You need to beat the biggest teams regularly. And in a couple of months, they are coming to South Africa, and then we can really see who is the best in the world. Now, I'm not saying 2 games is going to make South Africa or Ireland the best in the world. What makes a team the best in the world is winning trophies and winning World Cup. If this was any other sport, if this was football, if this was cricket, you would say that a team is either good or bad or the best in the world because of the silverware they have. Manchester City at the moment is one of the best footballing teams in the world because they won the treble last year. The Irish rugby team often reminds me of the South African cricket team, the Proteas. They have all the best players in the world, but when it comes down to a World Cup, the South African cricket team is known as the chokers because they can't make it into a final of a World Cup. They can't win a World Cup. It's never happened. I don't know if I'm ever going to see it in my lifetime, and I think that's where Ireland are. When they're on song, they are the best team in the world, but the problem for them is that they can't do it on the biggest stages. When the pressure's mounting, when everyone's calling you the best team in the world, they cannot deliver time and time again. In quarterfinals, in a World Cup, now against England, when people were saying they were going to do the Grand Slam, they're the best team in the world, they fall short. So as a South African, I'm kind of glad that that happens. It shows who really is the best team in the world. South Africa, they've just won a World Cup. There's a reason they've won back-to-back World Cups. But on the other hand, I also feel a little bit bad for the Irish rugby team because they are truly one of the best in the world. I'm not that naive that I can't see that. They are one of the best in the world, but I feel like everyone is putting so much pressure on them to be the next Springbok team that wins back-to-back, to be the next All Black team that won 2011, 2015. They need to take it at their own pace. They've never made it to those finals, and they just need to keep building brick by brick. Irish rugby is in such a good place at the moment, and I cannot wait for when they come to South Africa so that we can have that massive number 1 in the world versus number 2 in the world to finally settle this beef between Ireland and South Africa. As always, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any future content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.